Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our annual Parents Information Session here at TU Dublin, Blanchardstown campus. My name is Larry McNutt. I'm the registrar here on our campus. Unfortunately, we are unable to meet in person this year, which is disappointing for us. However, we hope that this evening's broadcast will answer some of your questions and may address some of your concerns, but I do hope that it will reassure you that the entire university community is dedicated to enabling your son or daughter realize their goals and ambitions. Of course, the transition to higher education can be challenging for both our students and indeed parents. In many respects, you are simultaneously marking the completion of their secondary school education and celebrating the commencement of their higher education journey. In that regard, the transition is both an ending of one phase of their life and the commencement of another. And it is important that it is celebrated and that we do mark their achievement. Of course, much has changed. We have flipped the physical campus into an online environment. In that regard now, our classrooms, we're now using Microsoft Teams. Our lecture halls have been replaced with Adobe Connect. And all of this is hosted in our virtual learning environment, Moodle, with a range of other tools that staff and students will need over the course of this semester. Of course, not everything has changed. The university's portfolio of programs on the National Framework of Qualifications is still the heartbeat of our university. At level 6, our 2-year higher certificate programs, our ordinary degree programs at level 7, and our honours degree programs at level 8. And of course, what comes with that is you'll hear another vocabulary as well as the technology we just looked at. You'll also encounter a new glossary of terms, of modules, of learning outcomes, of program outcomes, of continuous assessment, of credits and grade point averages. And all of these are part and parcel of the academic measure of success and the academic markers of success for each of our learners. Of course, just as important as the academic markers of success, we also know that for each of our learners, there will also be opportunities for growth and development both personally and socially. Two other key dimensions in each student's success journey. And you as parents know better than anyone that each of them are on their own individual path. No one has travelled their journey from their years in primary school through secondary school and now on to college. When it is safe to do so, we will of course bring all of our students back on to our campus. It is our intention, and currently our estates have transformed our campus to adhere strictly to government guidelines, and we do look forward to that day, which for some will be sooner and others it may take a little bit longer. But our key principles are that every student will have their face-to-face on-campus experience this semester. For some, that may constitute 1 day a week. For others, maybe with more workshop or laboratory work that they have to do, it could constitute 2 days a week. However, we will adhere to government guidelines to ensure that all of our students and staff are safe. As you can see from some of the photographs here, physical distancing is critical, wearing masks, the signage has all been designed, and we are ready when we can to bring our students back on campus. For now, engagement with the university will be online. All the information and resources that you need to get started is on our website, and it is being constantly updated. So please keep an eye on that. Of course, ring us or email us if you have any questions. I would like to say that I do realize that this is an anxious and at times scary time for you, but please remember that this is the commencement of your higher education journey. You will be with us for 2 years if you're on a higher certificate program, or 3 years if it's an ordinary degree, or perhaps 4 years and further if postgraduate studies are part of the goals that you've set for yourself. And rest assured, we will get you there to that day when you will graduate with your family at TU Dublin, Blanchardstown campus. Finally, I would like to leave you with the words from some of our past graduates. They crafted and wrote this poem in conjunction with Colin Keegan. It's called Connected Voices in Learning. Although at the time they may have been struggling with morning traffic and the speed of traffic jams, whereas now we're more worried about the speed of our internet connections, the sentiments are very potent and just as relevant now for our new incoming first years. Here we come from all directions, like leaves on the wind in autumn, lone motes in the ebb and flow of morning traffic. We hold our dreams, some almost extinguished, some undiscovered like distant stars. And all we ask from you is that you see this. Thank you for listening, and I wish you well in your first year at TU Dublin, Blanchardstown campus. Keep well, Slán agus Beannacht.
Hello everyone, my name is Karen Feary and I'm one of the senior lecturers here on the TU Dublin Blanchardstown campus. You're all very welcome to our information session today. So this evening I'm going to talk to you about how you can best support your young adult on their third level journey. Now, as the student in your life has gone through the different stages of education, your relationship with them has likely changed, from walking them to the school gate to waving them out the door to secondary school, and now what? Well, now university awaits. So you might be thinking, well, they're an adult now, so there's nothing I can do to help. But actually you can, albeit from afar. To understand how you can best support them, we need to know the challenges that they're facing into as they embark on this journey. And broadly speaking, these challenges are usually either academic or non-academic, but both are equally important. Now, the most common non-academic challenges we find that students face into relate to time management, settling in, and dealing with personal issues. So we'll just have a look at these individually. In terms of time management, well, a new student's life can be quite different to how they've lived up to now. Some may be still living at home, others may have moved out for the first time, but either way, starting college usually involves a radical change to their routine, and this can take some time to get used to. They need to learn how to properly manage their time early on, whether that's for coursework, a part-time job, sport, sleep, whatever it is. They're all equally important, and finding the balance is important too. Because too much or not enough of one of these elements impacts everything, as we all well know from our own busy lives. So how can you help? Well, you can help them by showing them how to get organised. Now, don't just do it for them, just show them. They'll also need a quiet space to study, access to a suitable device as well, and they'll likely need your help with both of these things. We'll have a look now at settling in. Settling in and making new friends in their course and college life in general is really, really important for new students. We are all really social animals, and when we feel we belong, it can motivate us when the going gets tough. Now, initially, this will kick off through orientation, which is taking place this week. After orientation, there are several ways students can settle in and get to know people. Granted, many of these ways are usually on campus, such as through sport or using the gym or canteen facilities, taking part in our peer mentoring programme, the small class sizes, or the different student union activities. And while we're somewhat limited in what we can offer this semester, some classes will run face-to-face when it's safe to do so, and these will give students an opportunity to meet up in person. Now, we've also moved our very successful peer mentoring programme online for students, and we'd really encourage first years to get involved with this. Now, just a word on this: the mentors on the peer mentoring programme are current students from your son or daughter's course, their actual course, but they're just second or third years. The most important thing here is, though, that they have been through what they're going through and they can really support them in a very meaningful way. But what can you do? Well, helping them to settle in is a tough one. You can encourage them to take part in orientation, encourage them to take part in the virtual peer mentoring programme, and really to just take advantage of any chances to engage with the other students on their course or in the college in general. And this will really help them to connect to their new way of life and to give them a sense of belonging ultimately. So the last non-academic issue that students really face are dealing with difficult personal issues. Unfortunately, life being life, students sometimes find themselves having to deal with unexpected personal issues such as bereavement or illness or even financial pressures. Now, no doubt you will support them as best you can with these issues, but we just want to let you know that there's plenty of help at hand here too. We would recommend that you familiarise yourself with the supports that are available and urge your young adult to do so as well. Encourage them to seek help early on and to use these supports that are available to them. And what's more, they're often free. Now, the last set of challenges we look at really relate more to the academic side of things, and we have found in particular the two areas that crop up here are engaging with the course and the course they've chosen in the first place. So in terms of engaging with the course, I suppose the number one message really is be proactive. It's really important to point out that the more the student engages with the course, the better they'll do and the more they'll get out of it. Now, that kind of sounds like stating the obvious, but what do I really mean about engaging with their course? Well, they need to attend their lectures and tutorials, whether that's face-to-face or virtually. And this is particularly important this year. They're full-time students on a full-time course and they need to engage on a full-time basis. They should actively take part in their subjects by doing the various activities that have been set out for them, whether that's inside or outside of the class, working with their classmates in teams and in group work, and really finding a way to direct their own learning and work on their own as well. Now, some of you may understandably be concerned that your son or daughter might lose their focus, particularly with so much remote learning taking place at the moment. Just to assure you, additional training has been provided to our staff to enable us to structure and design our modules to reduce the sense of distance between our students and ourselves and to create a meaningful connection with them. We are committed here to fostering a learning culture that encourages communication and sharing of knowledge, not only between us and the students, but between the students themselves. In addition to this, our continuous assessment approach helps keep the students focused as we set them manageable milestones along the way throughout their modules, and this will motivate the students to stay in the game and keep on track. These assessments are always followed up by feedback, and this further helps to reduce any sense of distance our learners might be experiencing and helps them to stay engaged and feel personally invested in their course. Now, how can you help if they seem to be struggling to engage with their course? Well, I suppose reassure them first and foremost that it's okay to struggle with new things, but above all, encourage them to speak to someone. Each year of each course, no matter what course your son or daughter is on, has a year tutor, and each course has an overall course coordinator. They can speak to either of these people and they will have met them at orientation, so they'll know them. Now, they can also speak to any of their lecturers, whether either or their peer mentors. But the main message here really is that there's lots of help available and we can help them find their way. They just need to ask. Now, the final issue I'm going to just have a look at with you is course choice. So it's really hard to imagine course choice being an actual issue. So many students have put all their energies into securing their college place and they're really looking forward to starting their course. But what happens if they're a few weeks in and they don't like their course, or it's just not what they expected? First and foremost, don't panic. Tell your son or daughter not to panic either. Again, I would encourage them to speak to their lecturers, their year tutor, course coordinator, peer mentor, student counsellor, whoever it is. There are always options here. Although some are a little bit more time sensitive than other, so the sooner they seek help the better. But the main message here is it is not a disaster, don't panic. So I just want to wrap up and have a look at what kind of supports are available for you and for your son or daughter. As you can see here, there's a whole range of services available. Really, our main message is ask. Ask anybody and we will point you in the right direction. Just to wrap up again, in general, you can support your students by understanding that this is a big change for them and that it might in fact be difficult for them, even if it's just for a while. If you can be available to talk to them, to listen, to just give them the freedom and the space to learn, to make mistakes, and know that you'll be there to support them if they need you. This will help build their resilience so that they can handle setbacks if they arise. Familiarise yourself with what supports are available. Get them to familiarise themselves too. Encourage them to seek help early on. Doesn't matter, there are no silly questions. We have a whole team here to help you and them on their journey. And finally, whether it's an academic or a non-academic challenge that they're facing into, it often helps to add just one more word to their sentences, and that is yet. I haven't made friends yet. I don't understand the subject yet. But you know what? They will get there, they will understand, they will make friends, and we will very much help them on their way. Thank you very much for listening.
Hello, my name is Aideen O'Sullivan and I'm the librarian here on the Blanchardstown campus. Every year at this time we welcome new students to the campus. We show them around, show them the services that are available to them and take them through an orientation session. Unfortunately this year, on account of COVID-19, it'll be a very different experience for our first years. So our orientation this year will take place online. On Friday the 25th of September, students will receive an email to their TU Dublin email address, giving them a link to the orientation. The orientation will take place on Monday the 28th of September at 10 a.m. and again on Wednesday the 30th of September at 10 a.m. This will be a live broadcast with a series of videos. Usually at orientation, we take the students through the services that are available to them. We show them the library, we take them on a campus tour, we show them the IT services, they meet the members of the health centre, counselling, students' union, student services. This year it'll be a series of videos for them. It's not the orientation we would have liked for them, but we must make do in the circumstances we find ourselves in.
Welcome to your Blanchardstown campus virtual tour. This tour will show you where all the different buildings and facilities are located on campus. Our first stop is the Connect building. Located in the Connect building is the Student Information Desk, Student Services and Support, Admissions, Exams, Fees and Grants, and School Secretaries. Located to the left of the Connect building is F Block. In F Block, there are lecture theatres, computer labs, classrooms, and the library. Across from F Block is C Block. In C Block, you have a canteen, a sports hall, the Careers Centre, the Students' Union office, and a health centre, where there's a nurse located throughout the week. Across from C Block is E Block. In E Block, there are lecture theatres, computer labs, and classrooms. Next to E Block is D Block. In D Block, there are lecture theatres, computer labs, classrooms, and practical sports rooms for the sport courses, as well as facilities for the apprenticeship courses that take place here on campus. Located behind D Block is A Block. There are lecture theatres, computer labs, classrooms, and a study area in A Block. Up the stairs behind C Block is B Block, better known as The Link. Located in The Link, also known as B Block, are lecture theatres, computer labs, classrooms, a cafe, and a research centre. Across from The Link, there is a grass sand-based GAA or soccer pitch. The total playing area is 140 metres by 110 metres and can be lined to suit the sport. Next door to The Link is our state-of-the-art sports pavilion called S Block. In the S Block, there is a fully equipped fitness suite, a high-performance gym and teaching space, a spin studio, athletic therapy room, performance analysis suite, changing facilities, and classrooms. In front of S Block, there is a certified FIFA 1-star all-weather soccer pitch. The dimensions are 100 metres by 64 metres, with full soccer pitch markings only. This is available to students and for evening hire. To the right of S Block, there is a path that leads you to the horticulture block. The horticulture block is a dedicated facility for the horticulture course. Now make your way back to the Connect building. This is your TU Dublin campus. We hope you enjoyed your virtual tour and we can't wait to meet you on campus soon.
Hi, Aisling here at the Student Health Centre at TU Dublin Blanchardstown. Today I'm going to talk to you about COVID-19 and safety on campus. Before I give you those nitty-gritty details and things we've done on campus to allow you a return, we'll quickly recap on what COVID-19 is. COVID-19 comes from the family of coronavirus and was first diagnosed in Wuhan, China in 2019. In January 2020, it became a global health emergency and has rapidly spread throughout the world. COVID-19 is transmitted through droplets. These droplets are transmitted directly or indirectly. When we say directly, we mean they are shared from person to person. So when an infected person comes in contact with another person, they shed these droplets through talking, sneezing, coughing. Indirectly is when the droplets are on objects and a person touches the objects and then touches their eyes, nose or mouth. This is more likely what we call community transmission. So, what are the symptoms of COVID-19? Symptoms of COVID-19 include fever, fatigue, shortness of breath, cough, flu-like symptoms, and loss or change in your taste, sense or smell. Should you have any of these symptoms, you're required to self-isolate immediately and contact the Student Health Centre or your GP. What else do we know about this virus? We know that most people who get the virus are mildly affected and 80% recover with little to no concerns. However, those of us who are more vulnerable need to be more protected, and that's why we're going to have some extra measures in place. To reduce your risk of transmission of the virus, you need to socially distance, and this means keeping a distance of 2 meters away from each other. It also means you avoid touching your eyes, your nose and your mouth. And it means you wash your hands regularly with hot soapy water. And when that's not possible and hands are physically clean, it's okay to use hand gel or hand sanitizer. We also ask you to limit the number of contacts you have in a day and to only do things that are essential. You're also going to be asked when you return to campus to wear a face covering while on the campus. And we'll talk about that now in a minute. So, let's talk about safety measures we've introduced on campus. Since March of 2020, we've implemented a number of measures to help us return to campus safely. In every building, you'll find a number of signs. These signs will consist of what you do in the building, if you need to wear a face covering, reminding you of social distancing and hand hygiene, and symptoms of COVID-19. You'll also notice when you enter every building that there's hand sanitizers in place. Please use these, but remember, hand washing is more preferential. Where hand washing isn't available, hand gel is appropriate. Please be aware of directional signage as well within the buildings, guiding you around the building. There may be one-way systems in place, and we operate a right-hand side walking system on stairs and corridors. You'll be asked to wear a face covering, and if preferable, please use a reusable one to avoid wastage. Face covering should be worn in all public areas, in the libraries, and where social distancing can't be maintained or where signage indicates it should be worn. Face covering covers your mouth and nose, and it can be made of cloth or disposable material. The reason we're asking you to wear this is to stop the spread of the virus in people who don't know they have it. It's important that we protect everyone we have in the community. So let's talk a little bit more about the 2 types of face covering we have. Disposable, single-use items may look like this. They're a loose fitting cover that goes over your mouth and your nose and under your chin, and to put them on, you hold them by the loops and put them over your face. After they are worn, they are to be binned. Reusable face coverings can look like this. They're made of cloth material, generally cotton or linen, and can be machine washable to 60 degrees. It's advised you wash your face masks daily. To put on a face mask or a face covering, you wash your hands first, you hold the face covering by the ear loops, and you hold it over your mouth and nose. You pull it underneath your chin and press it across the bridge of your nose. Avoid touching the outside of the face covering. This is where droplets are likely to be sitting, especially if you haven't been able to maintain social distancing. To remove the face covering, hold it by the back of the loops again, the back of your ears, and fold it in on itself. Avoid touching where possible the outside of the surface. Wash your hands again. Face coverings are in addition to the existing the existing coronavirus health measures we talked about, which include social distancing, hand hygiene and cough etiquette, not a replacement. We've reduced our occupancy in classrooms, and outside each classroom you'll find a sign with the max number of occupancy per the room. We ask that you do not move the furniture and you adhere to the occupancy listed on the door. We also ask that you download the COVID tracking app and keep a daily log of contacts that you have. This may be required by public health should an outbreak occur. Should you become unwell on campus, there is an isolation room available. To access that, you contact the Student Health Centre. Information on this can be found on the TU Dublin website at the return to campus. We also have limited catering availability in line with public health guidelines. This will be updated as we move through the phases of either level 2, level 3 or level 4. It is important to us that you return to campus safely. Should you feel unwell, we ask you do not attend the campus and you contact the Student Health Centre. The phone number is 885 1105, or you can email ashling.moore@tudublin.ie. Everyone's cooperation is needed to allow us to return to the campus safely and to maintain that. We ask that you help us to help you continue to stay on campus.
Hello everybody, my name is Sinead Dunn and I'm the Student Services and Supports Manager here on the Blanchardstown campus of TU Dublin. You're very welcome to Parents' Evening, and it's unfortunate that we can't meet in person this year, but rest assured that we're putting plenty of supports in place for your sons or daughter for the coming year. We're aware that it's been a tough year for our students, so as well as the supports we'd have in other years, we've put plenty of extras on this year. So if your son or daughter has had learning supports or perhaps has a disability and may need extra supports for exams or throughout the academic year, we will put those in place for them. So if they've had them in secondary school, we'll try to replicate what they have had. But to do that, we'll need to meet with them. Now, this year we can do that with an online appointment. So if they go onto our website, tudublin.ie, and have a look for the Student Services page, we'll be able to make an appointment there with them. If they find a video call a little bit daunting, we have no problem talking to them over the phone. So if they make contact with us on the website there. We're also lucky in Blanchardstown to have the National Learning Network on campus, and they work with students throughout the year, all students, to develop workshops, academic workshops, and to help with social skills. So I'd encourage them to get involved with those activities. So as well as learning supports and academic supports, we also have financial supports in place. So as soon as most of our students are registered, we will put up the Student Assistance Fund form. So the Student Assistance Fund is really to help out with kind of the extra materials, class materials, things they'll need during the year, and also to help with some of their bills. Now, it's not to pay tuition fees, but it is to help with the other extras that they may need while they're in university. So if they watch out for the Student Services page on the website, that application will be available shortly. And it's usually available for about 3 weeks. So they can apply for any of those extras. So this year we know that a lot of activity will be online. So if you haven't a laptop and you're not in a position to be able to buy one, we are putting in place a laptop loan scheme. So that application form is available this week already. So students, if they're kind of have financial disadvantage or they're from a socioeconomic disadvantaged group, they may wish to apply for one of these laptops. So make sure you go on this week to make that application. If you're in a position where you're able to buy a laptop for yourself or for your son or daughter, they would have received information in their registration email. Now, there was a link in that email to HEAnet, and that gives them the opportunity to buy a laptop, a Dell laptop, at a reduced rate. So if you check out that email, all of the information is there for them. So this year was particularly hard for students and their well-being was probably at risk. So really we will have extra supports in the medical centre and with our counselling department. So in our medical centre we have a full-time nurse, Ashling Moore, and we also have a doctor who usually comes in a few days a week. Now this year those appointments will be done online and over the phone until we're able to get back into campus. So all of the information is on their website on the Student Services page if you look for Medical Centre. We also have a full-time counsellor, Clodagh Gallagher, and a sessional counsellor who comes in during the academic year. His name is Emmett Mallon. So they work with students, they do one-to-one appointments, and they'll also do workshops throughout the year. It's very important to get your sons or daughters to engage with these services. They're free, so they can use them, and this year in particular they may need them more so. So as well, on campus, we would have our sports manager, Ronan Keeskin. Now, Ronan Keeskin works hard all year to put different teams in place and sports activities. We have a gym and we've lots of outdoor pitches and places for students to get involved. I would definitely encourage them to get involved in sports or clubs and societies. We know that students who get involved in these activities enjoy college more and are more likely to stay for their course. So get involved, and if you have any queries or if they have any queries during the year, make sure they look for us on the Student Services page of the website.